Hi! It's been a minute. Well, it's been longer than a minute. It feels like a very long time since I was last doing this, so apologies for the very big delay between this video and my last one. As is always the case at this season, everything's been very busy, as I'm sure it's been for you. How are you doing? How are you holding up in this crazy, chaotic world at this famously busy time of the year? How's everything with you? Are you coping? Are you still there? I hope so. Today I want to really talk about staying spiritual over Christmas and the things that I'm going to attempt to do over the holiday season to keep my sanity, to keep my spiritual practice, but also I want to talk about letting go and being open to life during this often challenging time. It's a beautiful time. I love Christmas, I love the holiday season, but it can be quite challenging, not least because there's a shed loads of things going on, right? It's really busy, there's a lot of pressure, and I think we have in our heads what we want to achieve over the holiday season, over Christmas, and I think we can set very high expectations on ourselves and others. So I just want to talk about how we might want to integrate our spiritual practice into this season, because it's easy to lose it with late nights, food, all that kind of stuff. Everything goes out the window. So some tips and things that I'm gonna try, let's see if I can hold on to them over the festive period, but also about being open to life and being okay with things if they don't go to plan, even if things don't turn out the way we wanted, because we can have these high expectations over this time. So I just want to talk about those things today. First of all, if you are new here, a huge welcome. It's great to have you. And if you are a returning person, hello again. It's wonderful to have you back with me. If you are new to this channel, or if you've been here for a while and you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that wonderful subscribe button and like this video if you find it useful, because I am trying to grow this channel and reach new people and different people with my message. So if you're finding it useful, hopefully you will hit subscribe or like, and yeah, we can spread the love, get more people to see this video, and hopefully it will help them too. So, over Christmas, we are doing things that we wouldn't normally do in our everyday lives, whether that's eating food which isn't great for us, staying up later than usual, all those kind of things. They can often leave us feeling run down. And this year I really want to make a commitment to myself to keep the things going that I do, I was going to say every day, but that would be a lie, most days, to show up for myself, to give myself that self-care, and also to nourish and protect and look after my body. So I eat good food, I drink lots of water, I don't drink alcohol generally, I try to go to bed on time. I don't do these things every single day, but when I can, these are the things that I do. And I go outside as well, I go into nature, so those 5 things. And it's really easy to lose these kind of patterns and these habits and these rituals, if you like, that keep us centered, keep us grounded as sensitive spiritual people. I'm guessing, because you're here, that you are probably a sensitive spiritual person. So how do we keep these things when our routine goes out the window, when James Bond starts at 11:30 at night and we really want to see what happens? How do we keep these routines? Well, the first thing is, don't beat yourself up if you fall off the wagon, if you like. Off the nourishment wagon, let's call it. So let's not panic if you do that, because that might be what you want to do, and that might be your ideal Christmas, is just eating lots of food and drinking too much and all those kind of things, and that's great for you, but this video is probably not for you. So for those of you who feel worse when you do that kind of thing and you don't really want to do that, but you find yourself getting dragged into the festivities and feeling like you have to do those things, then my tips would be, oh wow, listen to that robin. Can you hear that robin? Can you hear that? I don't know. I don't know if you can hear that robin, but it's very festive. There you go. So Robin, I didn't even pay him. Yeah, so what I am going to try to do over the festive period to not fall into that trap of staying up late, eating things I shouldn't be eating that make me feel awful, and kind of doing these things because you have to, because it's Christmas, because you have to. Who says? So first of all, going by your rule book and your how you feel and what you feel is right. And that may change, as it does in life. So maybe on one day you do want to stay up too late and eat too many chocolates with, what are they called? When they've got like alcohol in them, like, I don't know, alcoholic chocolates, let's call them that. Then fine, you can do that day. But I would say that if you really want to kind of keep that wellness and keep that focus, which I'm going to try to do this year, it is actually being strict with yourself, but not seeing it as being strict, not seeing it as rules, seeing it as giving the gift of wellness to your body so you can fully show up, fully be present, be the best version of yourself over the holiday period. And, you know, moving out of this year and into the next, feeling good, feeling strong, feeling healthy, feeling vibrant. So instead of being like, oh, I have to go to bed now, it's like, I'm choosing to go to bed now because I know that I'm going to feel better tomorrow because of it. And I'm going to get the most out of tomorrow if I do that now. So trying to keep that structure and keep that pattern. But as I say, not being too hard on yourself if you do kind of fall off that nourishment wagon, as we call it. I'm just going to move this around because I think that tree is jittering. And, you know, yeah, just being like, well, if you do that one day, then, you know, okay, fine, you'll try to go to bed earlier the next day or whatever. So not being too hard on yourself if you do kind of like slip out of that pattern. The second thing that I really want to do is keep eating really great food. And I'm lucky that my family are, you know, really great with food over the holiday season. We don't tend to go like crazy on like the chocolates, the cheese, the alcohol, generally because we all follow a plant-based diet. You know, I am strict on plant-based diet, but the rest of my family is very, very good, and, you know, will follow that as well. So I don't tend to worry too much about food. But one thing that I do really try to do, even over Christmas, even though it's cold and it's chilly, is have a smoothie in the morning if I can, particularly if I know that I'm going to be eating like a bigger dinner or whatever, like, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but just for me, I know what feels good in my body, and I'm not going to change that just because it's Christmas. I don't want to feel bad just because it's Christmas. I want to keep feeling good. If anything, I want to feel better so I can enjoy it more. So one of the things that I really try to do is have a really amazing smoothie in the morning, filled with all the kind of like fruits, veggies, superfood powders, you know, nuts, seeds, anything I can cram in there. So it's kind of like, even if I didn't eat anything else that day that was nutritious, I'm sorted. And I always feel so much better doing that. So making that space in the morning to have a really nutritious, fantastic breakfast really sets me up for the day. And again, this isn't about feeling guilty about food or making you feel bad about eating certain things. I'm just saying that it's literally how your body feels and what feels good to you. And that will be different for every person. But just remembering what feels good to you and keeping that sacred and holding that throughout this festive time. The other thing I really want to try and do a lot more of is get up early. One thing that is the first thing to go out the window for me over Christmas is my bedtime, which I hold very close to my heart. I like to go to bed early because I like to get up early, because to me the morning is mine. Generally no one else is awake. It's when I can meditate, go for a walk, sit and read, sort my life out, tick things off my to-do list, whatever it is. It's like, that's my time, and that's the first thing to go over Christmas, because you're up late watching films, or you're messing around, or you're eating late, so you're not ready for bed, and then you're up late the next day, so you're not tired, and it kind of like is a bit of a vicious cycle. So I'm really gonna try this year, try being the emphasis, because it's really tricky. Like, this is one thing that I do really struggle with over this time, but I'm really going to try to get up early, to keep my routine, and just do really lovely things like go out and take my dogs out for a walk early, because I'll be home with my family where my animals are, and just kind of have that sacred time in nature to tune in to this magical time of year, which we often forget. And I spoke a lot about this in my previous video, you know, like leaning into November and this magical time where it's kind of like, it's cold, it's frosty, you've got the robins singing. Yeah, the mornings are darker, but there's like a magic in the air in the morning, because you know that there's only you and like a few other people awake. Generally people are asleep, and there's this really lovely magic in the air over Christmas, and to tune into that early in the morning I think is just such a blessing and so lovely. And I don't normally do it. I'm normally in bed because I've been up too late. So I really want to try and do that this year and kind of keep that bedtime routine, get up early, get out and just do something, whether it's sitting in the garden for 5 minutes with a cup of tea, or whether it's going for an hour-long walk with the dogs, or somewhere in between. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, but to me that morning time is sacred. It's also a time when, if you have family staying over, you generally get that time to yourself. And again, it can be quite overwhelming if you're staying with family, staying with relatives, visiting people, to be with people all the time, particularly if you're a guest in someone else's house, right? Because you feel like you can't just take yourself away. It's kind of rude just to like bugger off and go and like sit on your own. But for me, again, that's really important. I love people, I love spending time with people, but for me to be at my best, I also need to take myself away occasionally and just have time to myself, and that's really important. So again, that's something that you can gift yourself in the mornings, because generally everyone else is asleep, no one is up yet. So it's a great time to just start your day off right. Do those sacred rituals if you want to, if you meditate, if you tune into nature and the outside and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful time to do it. And it also gives you that space just to be at peace with yourself and just start your day off right, because once the day starts rolling on, for me anyway, it gets less and less likely that I'm going to be able to do those things. So it's just giving yourself that gift early in the morning over the holidays. And then finally, I just want to talk about the pressure that we put on ourselves over Christmas. We all have this like perfect idea about how Christmas is going to play out, where we have to be, plans that we make, and how it's all going to be perfect and wonderful. And I'm not saying that it won't be perfect and wonderful. What I'm saying is it's going to be perfect and wonderful regardless of what happens, and that's where we can find the beauty in that. So kind of staying stable regardless of what's going on outside of you, and being open to what life offers you. I'm not saying that we won't make plans. Like, I have plans to see lots of people, do lots of things, go to see a show, you know, all these different things. I'm not saying don't make plans. I'm just saying that be open to the fact that something better might come along if it seems like things have gone to pot, or something's not gone the way that you planned, or you know, you didn't manage to get that thing for that person, that one present that was perfect for them. Maybe something else is going to be even more amazing. So in whatever context that is, try not to put too much pressure on yourself, and be open to the fact that varying from those plans might potentially offer something even more beautiful, and in most cases it probably will. Otherwise it wouldn't be happening. Whatever is happening to us, whatever we're experiencing, we can change our perspective and change our view so that we know that it's always for our highest good. And we can find that in any situation. So I think just taking that pressure off yourself as well, and being open to what the world has to offer. And there's an amazing book that I'm reading at the moment called Living Beautifully. I'll grab it. This book, Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change, by Pema Chodron. Pema Chodron? I never know how to say her name. But it's an absolutely beautiful book. It's not very big, but you can see it already. I've started to already fold the pages over and scribble on it, and I love doing that to books. I love scribbling in books and putting stars and lines and stuff when I read things that like really resonate with me. So yeah, this is such a beautiful book, and it's about, you know, this bit that I've underlined. We embrace what is. You know, we're always having a fight with life about how we think it should be, and most of our unhappiness comes from clinging on dearly to what we think it should be and what we think should be happening. Should is like that dangerous word, rather than just seeing every expression of everything that's going on around us as perfect, beautiful, whole, complete, just as it is. And it's okay for us to just be like, okay, I wanted this, never mind, this is happening instead. I'm still going to be with this. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be present with this, because this is going to offer me something beautiful as well. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this book. And yeah, try not to put too much pressure on yourself over the Christmas holidays, trying to make everything perfect, and just accept the imperfection as perfect. And finally, I think my last point was finally, but now finally, my last point is around really tuning into the simple things over Christmas. So for me, some of the most magical moments over Christmas is just sitting by the log fire and just like hearing the crackling of the fire and just having that peace, not having the TV on, just like sitting by the fire. The laughing and the chaos and the absolute just bonkersness that happens when you're trying to prepare like Christmas dinner, and just standing and just being in that crazy like, oh, can you pass me the gravy? Oh, who's laid the table? Like all that kind of like mental noise and like chaos, just really just absorbing all of that and just taking that bliss and just like enjoying it and savoring that moment. And also those magical times that you create space for. So for me, hopefully that's going to be waking up in those early mornings and taking my dogs out and just listening to the birds and seeing the sun come up and the mists rise over a beautiful Christmas magical day, and just really coming back to those simple things and not necessarily worrying about, have you got the right wrapping paper and you didn't get that one thing that you needed for that person, and oh my god, you forgot to buy cranberries or whatever it is. Like all that stuff is fine and it matters, I'm sure, but just coming back to those simple things, the true essence of the holiday season, tuning into that peace, that space, that calmness as we round down the year, and giving that gift to yourself of that happiness, that simple, pure joy that the holiday season will offer if we are open to receive it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that was useful for you. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will hopefully see you again before Christmas.